Hello, friends. I am Aberg. Yes, on the 5th, 10th of September. It will be released on Steam in 2025. The game called Arena Breakout Infinite. I will explain it briefly. Your settings videos, showing how you should set up in the game, what the logic is, what the items are, how to mod a weapon. So you can consider this as a general guide video. Yes, first of all, this game was actually released on mobile, on the phone, and afterwards. It was later adapted to the PC version, but even though it's an adapted game, probably for many, many years, the full version never came out, and it was very expensive. And somehow, hard to access Escape from Tarkov's lighter version, you could say. You can call it. The core dynamics are the same. It's actually an FPS game. Yes, either alone or with your teammates, or completely with random teammates. You enter a map. Each map lasts 35 minutes. Within 35 minutes, you can go to certain places on the maps, open loot boxes, or camp somewhere to hunt enemies. A game? There are 3 main characters in the game. Scavs, which are bots. Boss with his guards and players. In some modes, there's also something called Scav player. Like in the game, you can start without bringing any gear and directly spawn with random loot. Sometimes at the 20th minute of the map. Sometimes at the 25th minute, and you try to loot and escape to make money. It's a method. Now the general flow of the game is enter the map, loot, leave, and earn money. Here you see like 43 million. We have money. After that, the game dynamics are very different. Much more realistic. The way you take damage, the way you deal damage, all items have 6 levels. Bullets, helmets, vests. Each of them has 6 levels. If you take a bullet, a level 6 bullet may barely hurt a high level armor, can one-shot a level 3 armor. You will learn these more as you play. Of course, any questions you have about the game, if you write them, I will try to answer as much as I can. Now briefly, settings. Let's look at our settings video. Settings are important. Yes, as you can see here, it clearly shows on the right side. If you want to see the widest field of view, you should set this scale to 110. Then this head bobbing. Keep it as low as possible. I always use it this way. Because sometimes you enter a room and there's a key on the table, a very valuable item, but you may miss it. You don't see it. So using this setting is very useful. Then here, when putting items into your bag, there are items like 2x2, 3x2, 3x1. To place them in your bag more easily, you can enable this. In the game already, when trying to fit an item in your bag, if this is not on, you can press R to rotate and put it in your bag. Then, for example, this setting at 30. If you find an item worth 30,000, you can put it in a special case that doesn't get lost when you die. You can store it. You can set its value here, 101, 0 hours. Using it this way is actually to your benefit. It really is. At the very start of the game, you might set this as low as 10,000. But as you progress 20,000, now an item worth 2, okay, won't matter much. You wouldn't call it useless, but you won't prioritize it. So keeping it at 30,000 is reasonable. Now, On the HUD, the visuals you see on the screen, this team info section. I think it's very important because if you're playing solo, there's not much of a problem. But if you joined a random team, someone's microphone might be hissing, for example. The game's dynamics are entirely sound-based. Hearing, sound cueing. Since that's the case, this lets you see which teammate is talking, and if necessary, go into settings and mute them when this happens during a match. The faster you fix it, the better it is. And here, let's also touch slowly on the game mechanics. This indicator here should always be on, because it's one of the most important indicators in the game. Here, your body is split into parts: arms, legs, abdomen, chest, and head. In this example, we see the head and chest have taken no damage. The right arm is heavily damaged. The left arm is lightly damaged. The abdomen has heavy damage. One leg is broken, and the right leg is lightly damaged. Now here, let's briefly touch on health items too. Health items. We have surgical kits, and then we have healing items. By the way, each of these has many versions. Some heal 100 HP, some heal 500, like some let you perform surgery 3 times, some 5 times. Things like that. Then there's something called heavy bleeding. If you're bleeding, you need to use a bandage. You'll need bandages. If you inhaled gas, there's a device you use to treat your lungs. You need to carry that. You should have one. And all of these, you should anticipate from the start and put in your bag. You can wear a gas mask. A helmet, we'll get to those too. In short, keep this section always on and visible. And this is your quick use wheel and your secure container. It doesn't show what's in your stash, only what's in your rig vest. And with a quick press of V, the game suggests, like, do the surgery first, then apply the bandage, etc. So, pressing V to use it from here, and seeing this is perfectly logical and sensible. Now, the stamina bar. As you see, it's split into 2. The left side covers sprinting and jumping, and getting up from prone, that drains from the left bar. The right bar is your aiming. Stamina, we can call it. Because you can't just aim at a spot and hold it for ages. When this bar fills up, there's a strong sway effect. It's hard to hit even if you're looking right at them. So keeping this bar visible will help you a lot. The weapon bar is also very important. Which weapon you have and which slot it's in, you see it here. This bar also shows whether you're standing or prone or on the ground, also important. And here, there are items. On the right, your grenades, Molotovs, etc. You assign them to numbers. I number them. Some friends, while playing, just do this directly. Throw it with a key bind. A radial wheel pops up, and they pick from there. Both ways work, and keeping this on has no downside. Next, this adjusts your sight zeroing when shooting distant enemies. It sets your aim alignment. With the scroll wheel 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, you can set it. This shows the raid time up at the top left. Not sure if you noticed. It's a bit white, so you might miss it. As I mentioned, one raid lasts 35 minutes. From this raid, if you don't extract before the time ends, you die. Your extraction points are shown alongside. That's a whole separate topic. I'll cover it for you later. But this needs to stay on. Okay, where are we now? Performance, your FPS, ping, and whether there's packet loss. Here's our compass. And after the compass, this is also important. Set this straight to always, keep it constantly visible. Leave it on auto. If there's a throwable that can explode around you, then it shows a red warning at the center of the screen. So you don't step on or pick up a grenade tossed at you. Okay, now let's move to the graphics settings. My monitor is an ultra wide. So I play in a crop 21:9 and it works. You'll set these to your own resolution. You should play in full screen to avoid especially in FPS games. Even though my system is quite good, to avoid higher FPS fluctuations, etc., I use the performance preset. Sure, at max quality if you want. You can also tweak each option below. But with my old system of 7700K and 3060 key, even then, I was getting 100 to 110 FPS on the game. Has a 240 FPS cap. Anyway, 240 FPS. You can't exceed it. If that cap didn't exist, I'd probably be at on this system 450 FPS. Right. So set the performance options. To your own preference, this stays off. I don't use frame limit on the main screen lobby either. Okay. And here, you can set this scope quality to high when quality. You ads at an enemy, this is the most important part, really. World details. Lighting, even if these are on basic, honestly, especially shadows. So these settings here will depend a bit on your system, but generally, I'd pick the performance preset up top. And if it's still not enough, switch things to basic below. This super sampling quality is like rescaling the image. It puts extra load on your GPU. It takes your resolution, upscales it, and fills in the gaps. Not exactly, but roughly that it adds GPU load. And latency. I've read a few posts saying it can cause lag on Reddit, so I keep this on performance. Next up, this music, lobby and in-game music. I keep these off. Everything else is basically at 100%. Use voice chat. You talk by pressing T, and it's enough for talking to your teammates. With opponents, there's a separate in-game wheel. You can taunt like don't shoot, hold fire, things like that. These are my settings here. Now let's go to controls. My sensitivities are always high. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, my mouse is 1200 DPI. I play at 1.65 cents. I've seen some friends play at like 0.30. So our arms don't ache while playing. I'm used to a higher sensitivity. So I use it like this. You can set your own options here. There's nothing particularly game specific here, really. We can skip this part now. There's something here too. Should we wrap up the video here, actually? Let's show our storage. Starting from the top, I've unlocked all the purchasable packs. So, this already gives extra storage space. You also earn more by doing quests. I didn't sell these rare items. They just sit here. I put my cash here, my spare key here, and the medallions from legendary players I killed. Here. This is basically your in-game bag. And here in the lobby, your stash, safe, let's call it that. For example, here, a level 5 armored rig. When you equip this, you can both carry items on it, and you don't need an extra body armor. So it saves you from taking a separate armor piece. It's a 2-in-1, so to speak. I generally use these. This one is just an armor. You put it straight into the armor slot. If you put this one here, you'll also need to take a separate rig. So you can use either combo. If you want, just like I did a moment ago, take off your armor here and then on your rig here. Equip something like this and use this slot as well. Now, since we're in the lobby, let me show you the items in the game. Here we have our helmet. The helmet itself splits into 2 items, even 3 items. Now here, this helmet. What is it? Armor class 4. So for example, a level 4 bullet. It depends on the bullet's type and shape, and also on the helmet's type and shape. So with a level 4 helmet, it usually stops level 1, level 2, and level 3 rounds. Roughly low tier ammo might take approximately round 5 could be headshots. 3 to 4. Level 6 will most likely one-tap his helmet. I am speaking in probabilities because, and why that is, let me show you like this. For example, by equipment, there are this many helmets, each with different properties. And if I recall, at level different 6, helmets there as well. For example, the KSS-2 I showed you earlier. This helmet has 45 durability. It's 92k. After you buy it, like this, you also buy an additional piece. A visor, you attach the visor and use it like this. By the way, while we're here, if your visor gets hit by bullets, it sometimes shatters. And you can't see ahead, you can raise your visor with the N key. Headphones. There are roughly 5 models of headphones. Their characteristics are like this. Some cut ambient noise but reduce footstep sounds. Some don't cut ambient noise at all, but you hear footsteps better. So if you don't want constant rain humming in your ears, pick your headset accordingly. But headphones are very important. Even the cheapest combo use a headset. You need to wear one. Here's our equipment pack. Even if we didn't have this rig or a backpack, there are 4 slots here. For grenades and for health items, we attach our rig backpack here. This is our case, the composite case. In the version on the 5th, that's going to release. It's currently 3x2, the max usable size. In the new version, it'll be 3x3. This is extremely important. This is our most important slot because I'll also show you the tactics. Quickly, say you want to loot fast. You spawned closest to the most valuable area. Go there, open the door. Even if you have no loot on you, not even a gun. From there, grab the priciest item and throw it into this case. It won't be lost, even if you die. That's why this case is crucial. Ammo is valuable. Ammo is valuable. For example, let's say you buy a level 5 vest, or better yet, a level 6 vest for 400k. What level was this for? A level 4 bullet, say 120. Or if you carry 240 rounds, that's like 550 to 600k on you. So, you generally carry your ammo in this case. Now we place our weapon here. Weapon modding I can cover in a separate video. If you like, there are so many weapons and so many mods, friends. Which one should I explain? But as I said in another video, if there's demand from you, if you're curious, I can record a video and show it. But to show an example, just one. You mod the gun from here. How do you mod it? From the magazine to the barrel. From the scope to the foregrip. This AUG is very standard. We happen to pick a standard one. Let me pick a more moddable weapon for you. Like an M4. As you can see, you can change everything on the weapon. You can change everything. So this is a separate area of expertise. And this I can cover later. If you like, we have the market. And generally in the market, you don't go in here and say, let me buy a grenade. The shortcut is, from here, configure items. Before you enter a match, you choose which grenade you'll use. You choose what ammo you'll use. And painkillers. For example, you took a painkiller before a fight. In the fight, your arm breaks. If you haven't taken a painkiller, if you haven't taken one, you'll be groaning as you move. Basically, I'm here. Come kill me. But if you enter the fight with a painkiller, into the fight, you don't make those sounds. So, when we play serious raids, as soon as the painkiller effect is about to end, we take another. So for the whole match, we try to stay under the painkiller effect. This whole section is painkillers. Here there are 3 kinds of bandages. 4 use, 2 use, single use. These are for heavy bleeding. And this is the surgery item. This does 1 surgery. This one 4. And this one is a 10 use one. And this is the nebulizer. Use these if your lungs are damaged. They're all healing items. This one heals 6-0. This 120, this 200, this 300, this 800, this 400, and this 1200. And these are stimulants like Reagan, for example, say 4 limbs. And 2 took heavy damage. When you hit Reagan, it restores you over time. Endurance. Well, it gives you stamina. Not strength exactly, but it increases your sprint time and your ADS hold time. Strength increases how much weight you can carry. Because you can carry 40 kilos, you took a backpack 3 kilos, a rig 5 kilos, a helmet 10 kilos. In game, that reduces how many items you can pick up after a point. If you overload yourself trying to fit everything, you can also stuff bags inside other bags and carry more than your base using nesting tricks. There's a system like that here. Then you end up unable to sprint, only able to walk. When you use strength, your carry capacity increases. Here are the drinks. Because in game you get thirsty and hungry, you manage those with these items here. I always take an energy drink because it refills stamina. But sometimes you need to keep these in your bag, especially on some maps. Sometimes you can also loot them. That's basically how you use this screen. There are 4 main screens: storage, this gunsmith screen where we mod weapons, and contracts. These let you obtain items through bartering. Like, say we want to get something. Let's say we want an Ace 31. It asks for 1 foam, a tube-like thing. Give those and it gives you the AC. It gives you the AC E31 directly. So there's a barter system too. And in the new version, it said this will be improved. We looked at this section and we already talked about the market. Let's go back to the main screen. Here are like our levels. And from last season, there are 5 things here. Our daily quests are here. Here's the store. Apparently they're removing a lot from the store. This isn't a pay-to-win game. Anyway, we're not talking about a game where by buying an item you gain an advantage. They've nerfed it even further. And it seems the store basically won't function at all. Now here's the trophy room. The medals you earn. There's a trophy room. Let me show you. You can display your weapons and the things you've obtained. They're improving this quite a bit. I think it's unnecessary for now. But later on, I think we'll be able to use it. Leaderboard and maps. We currently have 5 maps in total. Farm, Valley, Nordric, Armory, and TV Station. So, like, Farm and Valley are very easy maps. Basically a huge forested map. A very large map. A very large map. But because fights revolve only around that area, it's full of constant engagements. Very intense. And here, too, things heat up. It's a 2-story place. TV station has great loot. And very tough fights. So if you learn that map, it's really good. By the way, the most played map is Farm. If you've seen my other videos, I usually play on Farm. That map will also get some updates. They'll update the estates and add a few extra buildings in some areas. It's actually a very fun map. Besides that, there's the battle pass here. It gives rewards. As for me, what level am I? I'm level 126. And I can't say I've seen much benefit. There are active missions here. And here, with the points you earn from these missions, you can get weapons. For example, let's get one. We're playing. Let's take an MDR. Okay, we spend a bit of our points. The items we get drop here. Look, it even gave a helmet and vest here. Let's grab those two. Set up your loadout. Let's pick MDR here. Okay, our MDR arrived. By the way, it's a nice weapon. I use it a lot and I like it. Other than that, you go into raids and try to extract items. As you extract these items, you sell them. And your money here increases. As it increases, you can then, well, buy better gear that way. For example, this is 400k. But let's do something. Let's try a build. A dream. For example, now, let's do this right here. Say we. Check how much the most expensive helmet costs. Look. There are even more expensive helmets here. As I said, not visible now, but this helmet is 900k. It protects the face, ears, and head completely. But it seriously blocks sound. Footsteps, because you can't wear headphones with it. It seals you off, and the chance to deflect, a headshot bullet, has a much higher chance to ricochet. That's one big reason it's expensive. Another is that it already comes with a visor. Anyway, let's not go too deep. Say we spent 900k on it. Since a mask comes with it, we won't buy one separately. For body armor, we'll go here. If you're buying a helmet like Mat 80k, 90k, you should also get level 6 armor. Starting from here, you have 3 options. For example, this vest protects your abdomen, arms, and neck. But check it 14 kilos. So it eats into your travel distance a bit. Also, there's something like this in the game. You put on an amazing helmet, amazing armor, you have a fully kitted M4. You bought the most expensive ammo. You did all that. If someone shoots your legs 3 times, you die. SO, how skilled your opponent is. How? Well, they know the game. For example, I enter TV station, and there's a guy fully geared. I spot him, look, I won't shoot his vest or helmet. I shoot his arms or legs. That's the logic. So at the very beginning, if you decide to play or if you already do, probably know this, but don't just go buy the most expensive helmet, the priciest vest. No, there's no point in that for a while. You should focus on learning the game. That's how it goes. Let's call it here for now. There are also audio settings, etc. As I said, if you request them, I'll cover those too. Like Windows headset settings and NVIDIA's graphics settings, we can look at those in the video description below. I've written my system in great detail. So I get this FPS with that system. You can also talk about what FPS you get with your system. The game is free, by the way, without paying anything. You can jump in and play. I don't know how it'll be when it's released on, but it was a game where we very rarely saw cheaters. The community is growing a bit now. As I said, if we're about the video, if you have any questions about the game, don't forget to leave a comment below. I'll try to respond as much as possible. And we'll see each other in the next videos anyway. See you. Take care.